Hey, yo, what's the deal? That's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I'm saying? After this recording, it is January 12th, 2025. It's 2:15 p.m. You know what I mean? And right now, I'm just chilling. You know, I'm just walking. You know, I'm just in my crib, just, you know, get ready to do some stuff for work for tomorrow. Actually, I'm about to step out in a bit. You know, I'm actually going to be doing a walk around. You guys already know. You know, I love Fort Greene. You know what I mean? I fucking love Fort Greene, yo. You know what I mean? This is my home, man. Fort Greene, Clinton Hill is my home. BK all day, man. You know what I mean? Like, a place that pussies like the Surge is scared to come to. You know, I mean, my bad, the Snitch. Surge the Snitch is scared to come to. You know what I'm saying? But also, real quick, so let me grab some water. So, a couple of things before I get to topic. Another thing why, you know, I didn't make a video yesterday, and they sipped some water. That's good. I didn't sip water. I mean, I didn't make another video because I hollered at some girl and stuff, some girl that I knew. You know what I mean? And I mean, she looked good than a motherfucker. Like, the thing with me is this, right? Like, I love dark skin. Like, I love dark skin females. Like, I love females of all shades and such. But when it comes down to a dark skinned female, like, I'm all in. You know what I mean? I am definitely all in. You know what I mean? And because dark skinned females, they're different. They're different. My bad, guys. I don't know what the fuck happened, but they're just beautiful to the fucking core. You know what I mean? They're extremely fucking beautiful, yo. You know? And so, yeah, I'm trying, you know, it was a girl who I was trying to holler at, you know what I mean? And, you know, I gave her my number, so hopefully we could talk. You know what I'm saying? And also, I realized that, you know, because I live in New York, and fucking Altice took out Channel 11, WPIX. I'm like, come on, man. How the fuck am I going to watch NXT? But then I forgot. I still got digital. I got the digital antenna. You know what I mean? So I can just watch the shit there. But anyway, nonetheless, what I want to talk about today is, you know, of course, you know, I do discussion Sundays because, you know, Sundays is a day that you don't really see news break. I mean, it's not really a lot of news that breaks and shit. And, you know, I mean, I say, fuck it, let's have a discussion. You know, let's have a discussion such. So what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about a pro wrestler who I remember watching growing up. And I only saw his matches one time. Right? I only saw one match of his, right? And I thought at the time that, you know, he was a cool gimmick. You know, I love magic. You know what I'm saying? I definitely love, you know, the secrets behind magic. It's just like professional wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, magicians don't break kayfabe. You know, wrestlers don't break kayfabe. You know what I'm saying? Because everything's an illusion. So, Phantasio was a pro wrestler that was around. I'm not sure if it was the next generation. Hold on. Let me take a look. Let me see what year did he wrestle in. You know, because I don't know if it was the new generation or whatnot, but let me see. Let me see. So this was around the time before. Actually, no, this was during the new generation era, where WWE was wrestling in high schools. Which, by the way, if you think about it, it was actually a cool aesthetic that they were, you know, they were wrestling in you know, community college gyms and high school gyms and such. You know. It actually made a cool aesthetic. It really did. It legit did, you know? And I don't know, it was something cool about that. Remember, they was wrestling in the Manhattan Center in like these small intimate venues and such, right? So, you know, Phantasio is basically, he was a pro wrestler that, you know, that did magic, you know, during his matches. And at the time, you know, he's already had one match. Remember, he actually was spellbound in the United States Wrestling Association. You know, what's his name? Harry Del Rios. I think, you know, if you see how he looked, right? he kind of looked like Crow Sting. Ironically enough, I think that's where Sting had inspiration from, for the Crow face paint, because the guy Phantasio came out with face paint, and a hat and fire. Not really fire. He had like this wand that had fire, right? And he came out also with a hat that exploded. Boom, right? So he had a mask, but he also had face paint. And the face paint, if you see it, mind, this is 95. Crow Sting didn't happen until 96. So Phantasio was kind of ahead of his time, and I think he might have helped out Sting in a way where, if you really think about it, he pretty much, he was ahead of his time, right? So at the time, during the new generation era, again, like, people had gimmicks that had occupations, right? Some worked and some really didn't. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not gonna say it was that bad of an era. I will make a new video on that one. I definitely will make a new video. I do think that some of the occupations is kind of sketchy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just focusing on Phantasio. And he only had one match. And according to Bruce Pritchard, he said he was horrible. In the back, Gorilla, he quote unquote scolded him. He was like, "What the fuck is that?" With Bruce Pritchard, I can't really take his word on stuff, So with the liquefier, so he had one match, right? And this was through connection through Jerry Lawler and somebody else in the USWA. Remember, he was Spellbounder, and he was doing the same shit in the USWA that that he did. And I don't know why. Phantasio didn't work in the new generation era, but I think it could have worked. It could have worked long term. Yeah, if you given Harry Del Rios more of a chance, but I do think it would have worked more in the Attitude Era, because he could have done a lot more shit in the Attitude Era that would have that would have been even more crazy. And also, if I'm not mistaken, during that time, the Masked Magician was around. And if you would have molded him into something like the Masked Magician, I do think it would have worked. And look, he had a good build. He was not bad. He was green in the ring, but I think in the Attitude Era, it definitely would have worked, because again, he could have put a lot of real world stuff into that gimmick. And, again, who knows where that gimmick could have been, or who knows where that gimmick could have went, during that time. Right. I just think that they never gave him a chance, to see how far that gimmick can go. He only wrestled once. He only made one appearance, and that's it. Goddamn, they didn't even give him a fucking chance. And it's just crazy. But I do think in the Attitude Era, it would have worked. It clearly would have worked. He had a build and everything, and it was a very unique gimmick for that time. It was very unique. Could a magician wrestler work in today's day and age? Yes, it can. Yeah, the fucking can, if done correctly. You know what I'm saying? If done correctly. But I think, again, they never gave the gimmick a chance. Was it a bad gimmick? No. I've seen worse gimmicks, because when I speak on, the new generation era, we're going to go through a lot of stuff that we've seen that was just fucking horrible and horrendous. And this was Vince's idea. You know what I'm saying? This was Vince McMahon's idea. You're like, what the fuck are they doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, B. But I don't think that gimmick was that bad. I don't think, Phantasio was that bad of a gimmick. I just think, they apparently didn't like what they saw, and they brought him back to the United States Wrestling Association. But, again, it could have worked. It could have worked if you gave him a little bit more time. See, this is why dark matches exist. And that's where they fucked up at. That's why dark matches and house shows exist. You could have done that in a dark match or a house show and got something there. Instead of putting them out, on a televised show. You could have done that. You know what I'm saying? You could have done that and you could have been over with. But the fact that you didn't and you just put him in on a TV taping, I mean, that tells you enough right there. You know what I mean? That says everything that you need to know right there. You know what I mean? So again, I think the gimmick could have worked. Especially in the Attitude Era, I believe it could have worked. I strongly believe that gimmick could have been, successful, in my personal opinion. But I'm about to be out, guys. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely will make, 2 more vids tonight. You know what I mean? On shit, because I got a lot of shit to say. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.